A traitor to myself, I be. I'm pushing the limit.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Good evening and welcome to the post-match show. AEK Athens 1, Leicester City 2. How are we feeling after that? What did you think when you saw the starting lineup? I was a little bit worried. Don't know about you. Looks like we've got more injuries. I think at this rate, if I buy a pair of boots, I could probably get a game. It's a little bit worrying out there. But hey, we got the win. We'll go through the game with my post-match chum Brad. Were we holding on at the end? I felt we were comfy. I felt, we never actually. I'm not saying we didn't really get out of second or third gear, but did we not need to? But like I say, they got that goal back straight after the second half. I think Brad was one of those moments where Brad might still be on the toilet. They might not be able to discuss that too much. But what did you think? We want to know your views. Please comment on the clip and let us know what you're thinking. As indeed Rob has done there, and as Brad put in his post earlier, by all means, so you don't have to sign into StreamYard, but then you'll just come up as Facebook user, as Rob has done there. Just stick your name at the end so we can give you a shout out. If you do want to sign up, your pretty face comes up with who you are, your Facebook sign in, and it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to download everything. But good evening, Rob. Thanks for joining us. I hope you're well. How are you feeling? Did you enjoy that? Or have you not got any nails left? Let us know your thoughts on it. Top of the group, because you can't split us and Braga, because Braga also won 2-1 at Zoya Luhansk. Hey, we just can't be split. So next week's going to be very interesting. But hey, 2 games, 2 wins, and an away win included. Can't be bad. Do you agree, Brad?
Well, yeah. I mean, any team, any fan of any team that's in Europe of any level will tell you 6 points is 6 points. It doesn't matter where it comes from or how you get it. And tonight was probably a classic case of that. It was good in parts. It was very good in parts. And then I think at certain parts, when we saw the changes that I kind of expected tonight, because I think it was, again, another one that was cleverly managed by Rodgers with his team that he picked. And the subs he made them when he needed to, when it was 2-1. I don't think we was ever in too much doubt, apart from maybe a dodgy official decision, because there was a few of them in that game. There was a few very easy free kicks, and I'm not sure about you, Chris, but that free header they had in the first half, was that not offside? How was that not? Or maybe I didn't get the chance of the replays and it just looked offside on the first take.
I think there's no VAR, so we have to go with the ref and the linesman. And I think on that, from a personal point of view, I think to say we got more than our fair share of the decision. So,
if anything, they were consistently bad, but they were still some very light free kicks given to both sides. And I just think that offside didn't need VAR. It was that obvious, but apparently it wasn't to the officials. I mean, was it closer than it looked when they were putting the replays? Because how I was watching it, you didn't get many highlights, or replays, should I say.
What did you think? I mean, like you say, when you saw the starting lineup, let's go back to the start. In fact, let's just bring in some comments here. Again, hi to Facebook user. Another Facebook user, great win for the boss, bring on Leeds. And another Facebook user, good win, but some very hard games coming up, Leeds, Braga, Wolves, etc. I think with our squad as it is, I think all the games are hard, but I must admit I was a little bit surprised at Mendy being left out because this was never going to be an easy game, I don't think. Castagne and Evans are injured. I mean, where does it end?
Well, yeah, that seems to be the character. That was a screech through your end, mate. That was it's been a bit of a curse at the start of the season, but it shows that just because we might not be having the depth of the big European giants that they do, and we're talking not just in our league, all over the world. We don't have the greatest depth in numbers, but what we do have is good depth, and I think it was actually wise that we took Mendy off today. I know he came on in the game, but I'm glad he didn't start because had Chowdhury, who's been getting a lot of stick when he's come on. A lot of people said he was at fault for the Barkley goal, should have closed him down quicker. I remember distinctively he got a lot of comments for that. I think it was nice for him to get maybe a bit of confidence under his boot, especially took that goal well. We actually scored from a corner, or be it a little bit indirect from the corner, but nonetheless from the corner he scored it from. So there was a lot more positive to take out from giving players at that game time. And let's not remember, that's not a sentence, let's not forget, indeed he's still out for a while. And like you say, Leeds are a very difficult side. Well, by having the luxury of been able to rest Mendy for the majority of that match, and probably, unfortunately, in Rodgers' head, only brought him on just to shore it up because it was 2-1, despite, to a point, how comfortable we were. I think it was the right decision to go for it. All the signs pointed to be better prepared and handle these matches as best as possible. Is to rest the players and bring in the reserves in the nicest way possible. Not saying that Hamza's a reserve, but he is back right now.
I think looking at the fact that I must admit I looked and thought, oh God, Chowdhury, but he got the second goal, which was not a bad effort, and it just shows again how little we know compared to Brendan, and he is proving to be a master technician. And again, I always forget we get 5 substitutes, but at the moment it's great because we're not playing till Monday, and it just rested some of the starters.
Yeah, and it means the lads can, with Monday being the next game, it means the lads can recover a bit. A bit better. And getting better preparation for the game. And like you said, with the use of 5 subs as well, there was a lot more time being able to afford it to allow the likes of Maddison to get on before he got more minutes under his belt before he was taken off. Dennis Pratt, Kalichi and Iacho had a chance to come on and show his worth because of the 5 subs rule. And I think tonight, yet again, as you stated, tactically done, Rodgers used the rules, the subs numbers increase, and the position that the last result left us in, giving us a bit more, of affordability in a way. I know obviously no groups won or topped after the first game, but every win you get until maybe you first of all drop points at any point or draw a game, and if you win them all, obviously. But my point is, obviously, until we lose that game, we're going to be building a comfort zone that makes it a bit easier for Rodgers to kind of go, right, now I can go full strength for Leeds. When we play Braga, I can still go full strength, but I know now I can count on them a lot to get the result, and I can maybe afford to rest players if they're still dealing with niggles.
Although, of course, we've got the rest now after this game. We've got only 3 days between the Leeds and the Braga game, but then we have got a couple of weeks rest now. To say good evening to Dale, but I think this might again be Dale's wife. Good shave, Brad.
That was a little off-camera thing. No,
the hair next.
No,
I think, I mean, I think you know, Brad, you and Dale should get your own room. I don't know about, and I don't think maybe it's not Dale's life. It might be Dale. A bit of man love being shared here, you know. But it was strange that first half because I mean, I'm looking at the stats here. We had 60% possession, but we're only 6 shots to 4, although 4 on target to their 1. They just edged it 4-3 on corners. I mean, after Vardy got the penalty, I thought they came at us for 10 minutes, and for 12 minutes, I was a little bit worried. But as I said, I never felt it was weird because whilst I never felt sort of we got out of second, third gear, there's always, obviously, especially at 2-1, always that possibility they might just get one. And at 2-1. I was thinking, a draw wouldn't be too bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, the problem is you're never going to hit first gear when it's not your first team. I think the people is you've got to. I think at most points in that game for the players that are on the pitch, given all the circumstances, i.e., with game time, or lack of it, the likes of Wes Morgan, who's still a reliable force, still showed well. Some people were even saying he was a shout for man of the match. I know we'll get onto that in a point later on, but there was a lot of players out there at different level of calibers. There was a lot of opportunities to impress, which some of them did. Got more game time. With the squad that's out there, they probably hit at points when it was necessary to control the game and make sure it looked as comfortable as the halftime score suggested. I think they probably were at the top of their gear in certain areas, maybe not all round, but you're never going to hit for top gear without your strongest possible 11 out there.
Are we we keep putting sort of Leicester down, we're saying we've got all these injuries, look at the squad and what have you, but when you look at the players that are out there that did start, well, none of them were sort of, I know Luke Thomas came on, but none of them were youngsters. Are we sort of not as bad off squad-wise as we perhaps think we are?
Well, no, and that's the point. I think that's the point that I think a lot of. That's the point that I think a lot of. Sorry, there's a lot of noise coming from your end of your machines, Chris, and that's why I keep kind of stopping. Right. But that's the thing. You've got to break down a squad like that. If there's a Premier League squad against, say, I don't know, say like a Southampton or an Everton, yeah, you might be picking questions as to why them sort of players are getting played. But tonight you had out there Fuchs and Morgan, who have played in the Champions League. So, what a lot of people say is a higher caliber, and there's no questioning that. There's no trying to brush it over. Obviously, it definitely is a higher caliber than Europa League. And, they've had their respective terms of amount of experience in there, but still, regardless of experience. Then you've had the mixture of youngsters, and like I say, with Thomas, Chowdhury, who's now found himself as the backup again, but to a different player. He's getting game time. Justin gets that experience out there, what it's like to experience Europe. And, for some of these, it's probably even better for the youngsters to be given a chance because there's no pressure of the crowd. I think
definitely a penalty.
The replays were a bit sketchy, but I think when you go in like that and the keeper and the ball's not there, it's always a penalty. Was the contact as major as it maybe looked first time round? Possibly not, but the ball's nowhere. Jamie Vardy's out.
It's not often that I agree with Robbie Savage, but he was all for the penalty. But we weathered that storm. Chowdhury scored a worldie, but he certainly got a good goal. 2-0 at half time, and it was all looking a little bit comfortable.
Yeah, and like I say, the mix and match has stayed out there most of the night of experience and experienced players. So, it doesn't matter what team you've got out there as well. It doesn't matter who you're playing. They always say 2-0 is the hardest scoreline to defend because if Athens, like they did, hit back and get themselves back in the game, like you said, it only takes one chance. And they did have periods in the first half as well. Let's not forget about 5-10 minutes worth. And in that second half, where they did have the chances, they were creating and probably on another night would have scored one or two more of them chances.
Going to bring a couple of comments in here. Good evening, Brian. Thanks for joining us. Great win, but the squad is now getting stretched. The international break is going to be a blessing in disguise. Yeah, it is in a way, Brian. I wouldn't necessarily argue with that. But look at the last international break. We lost Soyuncu. Evans got injured. You know, yes, it gives some players a rest, but a lot of our players we've got are international players now, you know, and you don't know if you're going to get Tillemans. Stanya would presume he won't go, possibly. There was, I think, a thing on the Mercury about Stanya being out till Christmas, but Brendan just said it was until after the international break. A good evening here to Mark as well. Thanks for joining us, Mark. Got the result, and that's all that matters on this one. Captain Morgan was man of the match for me. Played well, Big Wes. And yes, Alan, who does my man of the match on the website, he actually did go for Wes Morgan as the man of the match. You know, you think that, okay, maybe he's not got the legs, maybe he's, you know, but he's got the brains. And, you know, when you've got little Wes next to you with the speed, Big Wes, you know, with the experience. And we said that looking at little Wes, he seems to have a bit about him himself. But, you know, the old timers, you know, had a good game. I mean, Fuchs taken off, but he played 3 games, you know, and, you know, we have quite a bit of depth there.
Yeah, we've got more depth. Like I said, I understand that, yes, we have got the biggest depth and some players will probably stretch for game time. But if you were looking at on the full basis of a squad, you take them injuries out of it, and obviously we can't. It's just like, we've got that many injuries. But realistically, no, we probably play players, like you said, Fuchs probably wouldn't have had game time before this if it wasn't for the injuries. And so in a way, it's probably worked out better for us that we've been able to get these players some game time. It's just unfortunate that the players that have got injured to give them the game time are out for a while, or at least a couple of weeks. Yeah. But, you know, saying that, they've done a job, and you're right. Just because they're old doesn't mean they don't carry bags of experience. Like I said previously, you know, Fuchs and Morgan have played in the higher competition of the Champions League. They've got the experience, they've got the knowledge with the players out there, like Albrighton, another one tonight. Brilliant.
Yeah. And then we look at the second half, and suddenly, this was, I think, when you were in the toilet, it suddenly came out. You missed the second goal, and you weren't in the toilet, although that's when it always seems to happen. Your link went down. But excuse me. They talk about, we gave Brendan Rodgers a bit of praise for making the right stuff against Arsenal. You've got to give the AEK Athens manager a bit of a build up here, because he brought Tankovic on, and it gave them the boost that, you know, that they needed. They you know, weren't much of a threat up front. He came at us as they seemed to at the start of every half. 2 minutes in, bam, through Casper's leg, 2-1, game on. And, you know, for about 10 again, 12 minutes, we had to weather the storm. But, you know, we seem to be good at soaking the pressure up.
Yeah, I mean, since these changes have come into the squad, where we knew, you know, when we knew this time was coming up to the Europa League, getting involved and having midweek and weekend matches and, you know, games in close succession. If you look at when that first started, that, you know, we've pointed out a few times since, but it all really started around that Villa game where we had, you know, forcefully were changing to players coming in and rearranging how we went about things, and you know, Europa League was starting to be on the manager's mind for how he wanted to manage games. And in the last 4 games, we've scored 5 and conceded 2. I'm including the Villa game in that, so I might have done my maths wrong. But, you know, the only teams we conceded against are Aston Villa and Athens. We've kept clean sheets in the other 2, and we've done really well in that aspect. And I think that's showing for how the whole squad's on board. You know, I remember our Champions League journey when we had to rotate in a few players, and to name a few off the top of my head, you know, when the likes of Hamer was in goal, I think Hernandez was finding himself on the bench at that point, and we had a few changes. You know, a few Leicester fans were like, "Oh God, I hope this doesn't backfire. He's resting too many players." But I think tonight the difference was the players that came in, we had a lot more confidence in than we did when we last mentioned in Europe. And I think that's a positive
I think
tonight.
we won't mention the Porto game where we made all the changes and got stuffed 5-0.
No, but Harvey Barnes won't thank you for that because that's when he made his debut. He made his debut in that game. I researched that.
That was, I think it was at the time the biggest loss by a club in youth club in Europe. But I think Arsenal went and beat that.
Arsenal didn't like not having it. You know, Arsenal want to beat us one way or another. It's the only way they're going to do it recently.
Yeah. We did, like I say, we weathered that storm and then we seemed to sort of get ourselves back into the game. So good evening here to, he's not coming up, but good evening to Mark. Total game by Big Wes tonight, the rock at the back. Yeah,
I'm not arguing with fans tonight. I'm going to say now that's me man of the match, Big Wes, because I don't like pitchforks. Hit me door.
Then we made all the changes, sort of 65 to 30. They came on. I mean, Mendy came on for Chelsea, which was like for like. Pratt for Under. I thought Under had a really good game. I mean, you know, he hit the bar after sort of 64 minutes. Not long after Maddison had struck the free kick into Athens town centre.
Yeah, but I tell you what I was impressed with, and it happened a couple of times, and it was probably the times that I've said that he seems to be a player that sparks into life. Like he'll just be an engine that's ready to tick over, and maybe he splutters a few times when he slips or does tries to do a bit too much. But when he gets going, he is quick. He is unbelievably quick off that acceleration. Boy, can he pick out a pass. I know his shot one wasn't, but he can cross. You know, you need two options when you've got a set piece. Sometimes, you know, you can't always shoot a goal. It's too far out. You need someone to put it in. I mean, that cross that found Vardy's head was near on perfect. A little bit lower and more in Vardy's path. That was probably another goal on in the first half. And he can pick out a pass as well when he's on that roll. I've noticed that about him. He does look very. There was a lot of good things about Under tonight.
Inacho came on for Vardy. I think that. I'm not decrying Inacho at all, but you know, we always say he's a different player to Vardy. And I noticed a couple of times tonight when the ball was being played back to their goalie, Vardy would have been the one that was chasing that ball down, running right up to the goalkeeper, making the goalkeeper make a quick decision. What is he going to do? And you know, try and get him to make a mistake. But I noticed Inacho was very much, well, yeah, it's gone back to the goalkeeper. Let me just jog back into position, and the Vardy's on. You know, he's our first line of defence, and Inacho doesn't do that.
Yeah, but again, because they are two totally different forms of striker. That was made very clear by Brendan Rodgers, and the reason why he didn't pick Inacho against Arsenal, why a lot of people maybe questioned him not playing a natural striker up front. You know, he sent Inacho on to do a job. Now, clearly, Inacho's new job or something that Brendan's worked on with him for a while is he's going to be the hold-up striker, and he's to muscle and bustle in and about, create a nuisance, drag players away while the midfield are the creative spark, and then find himself a bit of space and take his chances when they come his way. He's not there to do a Vardy's job. Vardy does that job because he's capable of doing that job, because he's got the pace to do that job, and because his area of focus from Brendan is stay up in your half for the majority of it. I know Vardy does still get back, but his job is through the middle. There's your channel, working your operation of strength. Vardy's conserved his energy. He can run at a goalkeeper and close him down because he has and still does force defenders and goalkeepers into making mistakes. Inacho does not. He's there to cause a force, get in between, and make them make a mistake with a wayward pass. And he did that well tonight, I think, to a point when he was needed.
And I think, you know, we talked to Under coming on and looking good. Luke Thomas, when he came on, I mean, how young, how old he is, he's 18, 19, but he did not look out of place. And I mean, literally, he'd been on the pitch 2 minutes and had a superb cross that Vardy was looking up to get on the end of.
Yeah, and again, that's more down to that's more testament down to our team that on the training ground and the manager, because that was another thing that you could point out that shows our depth in squad. It's on the same level of par. They all know the job. They're not scared. They're not worried about messing up when they come in because they know the plan. They're all at every level seemingly getting that experience drilled into them, and they're getting it drilled into them how to do it. And they're basically told, if we think you're good enough and you're capable of doing that job, you're going to get game time here. Don't worry about it. And, that was his first European venture, I believe. I don't know if he played in that Porto game. I don't even think he was even a consideration a few years ago.
I think he was probably still in nappies, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe. He's probably still sitting his GCSEs. But again, he came in and, like you said, he looked natural, and it just shows the effort and dedication that goes in, not just from the staff, but from the players. Because let's face it, James Justin played tonight. He was playing League One football, wasn't he, last season?
Yeah.
But
I mean, like I say, I go back to what I said before. I don't think our squad is probably as bad or as threadbare as we possibly think it is. I thought Thomas's yellow card was a bit harsh. I think the referee was a bit over the top with that one. I think the Athens player went down very easily. But obviously, the other two teams in the group played as well tonight. Braga went 2-0 up. Zora got one back, 2-1. We're matching each other, score for score, point for point, match for match. So I just want to go back to a point, and I apologise to Rob. I wanted to say this to bring this up because it's a very, very, very good question. What's more important, the Leeds game or the Braga game?
Leeds, it's first. Braga's not important until Braga comes around. They're both important for their own separate reasons, and that's how I'll always see a game like that. Neither one outclasses the other for me, because if we beat Leeds in the Premier League, that puts us top four, maybe even top. That keeps our good start going, and that means that doing what we did tonight was worth doing because we got the points, we got the risk equaled the reward for not going strength and giving game time to players that need it and showing and trusting our experienced heads. We get 3 points against Leeds, it's vital for our league position, and if we get the 3 points against Braga, it's just as good for the Europa League. It puts us in a sturdy position to win the group, because I think if we're being honest with ourselves, Braga out of the draw are probably the team we looked at the one that might push us all the way. And if you can, getting a win against Athens, yes, the scoreline was only 2-1, but even though there's no crowd, again, at this point, I will say that was, you'd like to think at home, that's probably where we'd have a better advantage and probably turn Athens over. And I think we'd do the same. I think we'll beat Zoira at theirs. So if we can do Braga at home, fantastic. I think we'll top the group if we make it 9 out of 9. It's doubly as important.
A quick message there. I do believe that's Mark Heath, no Inacho hat trick. I think he was Inacho was going to start, and he was. I had promised him a pint if Inacho got a hat trick. So my money's safe, Mark. My money is safe.
No, you could have said it was a hat trick of offsides, because he was he offside a few times today? I think he was a couple of times.
I think towards the last, I always get nervous watching, and I always find it harder to watch at home than I do if I'm in the stadium. And I think I said sort of with the Arsenal game, I need to buy a dog the last 5 minutes to take him out for a walk, because I'm just pacing up and down, walking, and I do miss one or two things.
You'd be looking in at other people's TVs, Chris. You can't do that.
Have we watched that?
You'd be taking the dog a walk and looking in at other people's TVs, see if they're watching the game. You can't do that.
Indeed. Excuse me. I started when we started this Europa League campaign. We thought, this is a good group that we're in. I think we sort of said that if we can win our home games and draw our away games, that would be good enough. And we've already got 2 wins. It is looking good, is it? And the whole season at the moment, if this is how we're playing with supposedly all these injuries, it's going to be fantastic when we get all these players back, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. Well, I know a lot of fans maybe look at it in a way of they've got a lot, there's a lot more love in a way. I don't really know how to word it, but in the best way. Mendy has obviously got a lot more time on the pitch than some other players will, because indeed he's out the longest, I believe, unless the news on Castagne is true, and it is December. But from what you said, apparently that's not the case. He'll be international from what Rodgers has said. People would be quick to assume that Mendy is just going to be dropped to the bench and Ndidi comes in because it's Wilfred Ndidi, you know. But I think what we've learned from the start of this season and the way they want to manage things, I don't think it'll be an instant drop. I think it'll be they will use Ndidi's return and Ricardo Pereira, because he's out. He might have to come back in quicker, but it depends how Rodgers wants to handle the next couple of games with injuries again. But you know, my point is, I don't think players will be coming back expecting to walk into this team. They'll have to earn it back and earn the minutes on the pitch. And I think that's a good thing.
I agree with you there. I don't think any player should just come back to who they are. Possibly,
yeah. And that's
Jamie
not me saying
might
that Ndidi
to one extent. And but
yeah,
hey, there we go. Like I say, it's looking good. Brad, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's been good tonight. It's been an enjoyable one. Again,
it's always enjoyable when we've won, isn't it?
yeah. Oh, and if anyone wants another reassuring reason to be happy with that performance, I didn't find out until the full-time whistle that Spurs lost, though. You know.
Yeah, Spurs have lost.
So it could have been worse, guys. We'll take that.
It's even better. Let's hope Arsenal can lose as well, because they're playing at the moment.
Yeah.
Mark's just saying there, so I forgot to sign in. Typical Mark. Yes, your money is safe. Yes, it is, Mark. I'm sorry. You had your chance and you called it bad and you got it wrong. So, anyway, I will see you Monday night, Brad. It'll be another late one, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Late kick-off Monday night. We're not on pay-per-view, so thanks for joining us, Brad, and I shall see you Monday night.
Yeah, I shall see you then, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
So that was Brad. Thanks for joining us, and that was this game week 2 of the Europa League. Just going to have a quick message. You may remember this guy if you're old like me. Ian Hume. Who remembers Ian Hume? Here we go.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here, X-Fox in the Box. Watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV and follow them on social media for all the up-to-date Leicester City news and information. Cheers.
Good man. He knows his stuff. So, if you've missed any of the show or you want to watch it again, and why wouldn't you? It's going to be on YouTube in about 10-15 minutes, depending how quick YouTube are tonight. You can follow Leicester Till I Die on YouTube. It's Leicester Till I Die TV. Please subscribe. We're over the 100. We're trying to get to 200 now. So give us a subscribe. We're also available on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die. Twitter. I'll tell you what, it's all coming up now. And if you miss it when you watch on YouTube, they'll all be below. Guys, I'm back tomorrow at 7:30 with a Leeds fan. We've not played Leeds. I think Leeds, the last time we played them, we were in the 3rd tier. So that's going to be a tactical game, that I think, Rodgers against Leicester. So we'll see what the Leeds fan has to say tomorrow at 7:30 on the Opposition View show. Guys, take care and stay safe. And thanks for joining us. All the best. Bye-bye now.